Welcome to another week of Available Work. It's been a little bit for us. Folks, you've got a treat here today. With us is Tamara Atkinson and Mark Sherry of the Capital Workforce Solutions Board, located here in your capital city of Austin. Tamara, how are you? How are you guys?
I am fantastic, Commissioner.
Happy to be there. But Mark, you guys, I want to tell you all, we'll get into just quick introductions and a little bit of your bona fides. But I really kind of leaned on you guys to help me get into the deep water in a lot of things. And Mark, I think we brought you on for our first super session for our annual conference that we came on. So that was a lot of fun. And now we're a year later, man. I mean, it's coming up pretty quick.
Does not seem like a year.
No, it's here coming up pretty quick. Mark Sherry, obviously from Baylor Scott White. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you relate to the board locally?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having us. I wish I could show off. I got my beautiful Workforce Solutions socks on there that I like to model. But unfortunately, the audience won't be able to see those.
Use your mind.
But use your mind what those look like. But thank you for having me. Again, I am Vice President of Human Resources and Workforce for Baylor Scott White Healthcare. We are the largest healthcare integrative system in Texas and employ over 55,000 employees across the beautiful state of Texas. My role on Workforce Solutions is chair of the board, but that has certainly been an education for me. I started out again. Tamara has done a tremendous job developing me and growing me into the role that I'm in right now. But we've been able to accomplish so many great things as a board, and continue to look forward to leading this board into identifying additional opportunities that we can help serve the local workforce here, hire local, and keep the people here in Austin.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, Mark. Thanks. And we'll continue to go through this, but I think it was one of the questions that we had talked about early on was like those mini internship things that we had talked about, and the program that Baylor Scott White has been done on that. I think we're talking about internships a little later, but remind me to bring that up and talk a little bit about that as well.
Sure.
And Tamara, would you like to basically just give us the elevator speech and introduce yourself? Talk a little bit about how we work together as far as the Workforce Solutions Boards.
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner. So Tamara Atkinson, CEO of Workforce Solutions Capital Area. As you said, Commissioner, right here in lovely Austin, Texas. At Workforce Solutions Capital Area, we exist to support and connect local people to local jobs. And that really means we are all about building talent pipelines for our employer community. Mm-hmm. We want all of our employers here in Austin to be able to hire local, and we believe the workforce boards are a great avenue for that. I've been fortunate enough to be with the board for more than 2 decades, and I only exist because we have great relationship with our board members, our business leaders such as Mark, and of course the relationship we have with the Texas Workforce Commission. You, the other commissioners, and all the talented staff at TWC. It really is a partnership. I feel like we couldn't do what we do on the front lines without you all being supportive through your policies, through the funding, just through your advocacy of us in the local area. So thank you for that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you. And a lot of times here on, obviously in the show, and then when we speak to groups and small business summits the governor's office hosts all over the state, even our conference for employers, my messaging is always go see your local workforce boards. Oftentimes, the CEO or the executive director is with me to kind of explain the services that they provide. So employers that are listening and workforce enthusiasts that are listening, this is who I'm talking about. This is who I'm talking about all the time. You guys are boots on the ground. You're the front door. People that are looking for directly for jobs, even job searches. But even before that, a lot of want to get talking into a little bit more of workforce development. But it starts before the job search, right? If a lot of times it's services that help prepare somebody to go into a meeting with Mark Sherry, who's looking to hire somebody. So that's the job search. But I mean, wraparound services. Do you want to talk a little bit about the wraparound services that you see coming in and out of the office today?
Absolutely. Commissioner, I really appreciate you bringing up that we are more than just organizations that connect people to jobs, even though we do. And even though we also invest in training, we're so much more. We really believe in meeting our job seekers and our students where they are.
Yeah.
So if it's a student who's still in school, we want to educate about industries and occupations that are in our local area driving our economy and what programs, including programs in their schools today, the students can get involved in. So that's number one. Number two, when someone comes to us and maybe they've lost their job or they're looking for a better job, we're going to, again, meet them where they are. We're going to say, do you have a resume? When's the last time you interviewed? We offer at no cost workshops on all these different ways that someone needs to prepare themselves to talk to a Mark Sherry. We also engage with the business community and have many opportunities, career fairs, hiring events where job seeker students can get in front of business leaders such as Mark, really try out their skills and also learn what skills are in demand in the marketplace through those hiring events. So soup to nuts, Commissioner, we're really there here to serve our community. And thank you for plugging us across the state because there's services like we offer, but across the entire state.
And Katie's here too today, everybody, and Chelsea is running our board. We also have David Rodriguez, our intern. David, say hello. He's from he's over there in what we call him, Line 5? I forget what we call Line 5.
Line 5.
Line 5, yeah. So, but Katie and I were talking about our ways that we wanted to make sure, especially through this office, we want to make sure that we're in communication. You and I, Tamara, we've had monthly calls, and I think that's great. And what I wanted to explore is to make sure that our office is supporting the 28 different workforce solution boards by just kind of knowing what, who woke up worried about something and something that we might know. What are they working on, the big events and stuff like that. When I say big events, when I hear big events, I always think of youth conferences that you guys have hosted. What are some of the bigger events that y'all have spearheaded, and if y'all have anything on the horizon that you're going to be working on?
Sure, I'll start and then let Mark jump in on some of these if he has others to add. So I'm glad you mentioned youth. We are very active in the schools.
Yeah.
So we've got outreach coordinators, we've got staff specialists that are in the schools connecting with the students. We've got then different kinds of industry career fairs for those young people. Big events also include every year the Hiring Red, White, and You to honor our veterans and connect them to jobs. Really proud to do that. And then really throughout the year, Commissioner, based on what the business community is asking for, we'll hold different summits, hiring events, career events, but with a particular industry flair to them.
That's awesome. Great segue, because my general talking points to make sure that we are pushing industry and to make sure that industry and employers have a seat at the table and that we're listening to them usually involves us saying that we're looking at training and resources at the speed of what the industry is needing at that currently. Mark, can you talk a little bit about what that's all about, why that's important?
Yeah. Let's definitely do that. I think as we look at the opportunity, huge growth brings huge opportunity for us, right, in the workforce side. And as the Austin area population grows, specifically in this marketplace, we see that demand for healthcare increasing, not only in the healthcare facilities, in our workers, in our operations, but it's growing at a staggering rate. Matter of fact, the benefit that I get, and one of the things that I always talk to Tamara about, is the data. We got to be the trusted source of data for all of our workforce, and particularly our employers. And what I get from Tamara, some of the numbers that I look at is we have an Austin metro area healthcare market that's growing at about 2.7% annually. That helps us in terms of our strategic planning and the work that we need to do to be able to find that talent pipeline and that workforce that's ahead of us. Now, when we look at 2.7%, that may not seem large, but that's anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 new employees that this healthcare market, just in the greater Austin market, is going to need to grow or develop to be able to support the demand of the population coming into the Austin marketplace. So that's staggering. I like to talk about healthcare a lot because I think it is the dynamic market. It's the number one out there, but it is. It's outpacing the annual growth rate of any other industry right now. I think in Texas, at least here in the Austin marketplace. So it is a large focus for us in terms of what we do. But the important piece for us as an employer is that partnership. Tamara touched a little bit upon it, some of the events that we do, but we got to continue to work with our K-12 providers in terms of developing that talent and making sure that they understand the high demand jobs that are needed in healthcare over the next 1 to 5 years. We need to continue to partner with our community in terms of our community colleges, our workforce boards, in terms of identifying and growing that talent and continuing that pathway along. And then the earn and learn models. This has been a great piece for us in Baylor Scott White. The earn and learn models, apprenticeships, school to work opportunities have really lifted us above and solved a great problem that we have had in terms of a pipeline shortage. We got to make sure as a workforce board that the employers are able to speak up. They understand the availability for grants, the availability to be able to fund school to work or apprenticeship or internships that are available to us out there. That is a tremendous piece as every industry is looking to, again, cut back just as most big industries are right now. But this provides us an opportunity to go in a different pathway. But ultimately is how do we connect the local people to local jobs? And to do that is making sure we continue those partnerships. We understand the data that's out there. We understand the needs that are out there. And we're all rowing in the same direction to be able to solve them.
Yeah, and from what I'm hearing, employers from what I'm hearing, is that it's the edge of the knife is not just the job search. It is the entire run of making sure that pipeline is from the nursery, right? Is we're continuing to put resources into cultivating that workforce development at a young age. Make sure that people are working through that system, that they are going to eventually be a part of the workforce system in the state of Texas. So there's so many on ramps to that system from K through 12. You said
Absolutely. I think one of the other programs that we like to highlight. Matter of fact, tomorrow I'll be heading out to one of our facilities to talk to our teacher interns or externs, I guess is what we call them.
Yeah, that's great.
I think that's an important program. We've been doing it for close to 6, 7, 8 years now. But as a sector partnership, the large healthcare entities here in Austin are coming together, and we're making sure that the teachers that are in front of these students understand the high demand, the high pathway jobs. We've always knew there were shortages in nursing and physicians.
Yeah.
But let's look at some of those other entry-level positions that again, we can get students into. And I think ultimately with the workforce development, it's just not about the unemployed. It's about the underskilled, the underdeveloped, those that want additional opportunities but maybe have not had that opportunity to gain successful employment. Something in their life has prevented them from doing it. They've prioritized family first, but now it's their opportunity that they want to go back and grow this skill or this passion that they've always had as a child, and they have the opportunity to be able to do that. So the teacher externship program is a tremendous program. I look forward to meeting those teachers and learning. We learn a lot from them, and a lot of it is listening about the resources maybe that they don't have, of how we can help them get the right resources. So we're training and upskilling the students to get successfully hired in the local job market.
And Mark, let me jump in here because this very successful teacher externship initiative would not be possible but for the partnership with TWC. But for you, Commissioner, your fellow commissioners, the faith that you have in our education system and the connection between educators and business, but for those grants, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So we're so appreciative. And I think this is another way that you, as a commissioner representing employers, you are helping area employers all across the state in the summer. And so we're so appreciative, and you're hearing firsthand from an employer how meaningful it is to our industry.
Great feedback. And I joined my other commissioner friends on the board here that I think we're always looking to see how we can better expand it to allow more access. And this is, we're talking about a paid internship for teachers that can do this over the summer. It's a great idea. The thing, what I always love about this, our career counselors that maybe 1 or 2 or however many the ratio is to how many of our students, more teachers you can get into this program, those teachers are with those students on a regular basis, almost every day. They can spark those conversations as organically, and not just in a meeting. Your appointment to meet with to discuss your career, and okay, well, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? Well, it's usually those conversations aren't like that. They're what is this kid interested in? What is he in? This person can be, a couple of years down the road is about to graduate. Can we get them into a summer job around that opportunity, or can we get them into Baylor Scott and White, in some way that they have these internship opportunities, and something that they wouldn't have otherwise known about unless it was somebody that went through the program and has a better understanding of how the workforce development opportunities work. So hats off to those teachers that are literally doing more. They're giving up, some of them have jobs over the summer, and they're able to continue to take up this opportunity. So I'm telling you, I'm always looking for more opportunities to provide to teachers and to those workforce solution boards that may not have these robust programs that other ones have. We're always looking to help those and provide those opportunities out to that area too. So.
Commissioner, as you were talking, I was thinking what a beautiful Texas two-step the teacher externship and the student internship is.
Oh, yeah.
Like they go together like chips and queso. Like they match together because you've got the educators with industry, learning about industry, and then at the same time, you've got students getting that hands-on summer work experience. And so, and again, enabled by TWC and funding and support that we get. This is that beautiful partnership that we have with TWC.
That's great. I'm glad it's working, and it definitely is a good investment to that too. Before we move on, can I let me ask about Austin Hires Local? How does that fit into your kind of daily operations? I think where it is.
Well, I think Austin Hire Local is a core focus of our workforce board. It's definitely a agenda item and a topic at our board meetings that we want to make sure that we're on pace to make sure our employers, our local employers, our board members know that we are moving in the right direction, that we have the right programs in place. It is an important strategy for us, particularly in the healthcare marketplace, that we focus on local hires. It is a challenge to bring people into Austin. Affordability, cost of living is extremely difficult. So we identified in working with Workforce Solutions and leveraging some of the TWC grants on apprenticeships, the ability to take local individuals and upskill them into healthcare careers. And we found this when we talk about the data tells us the information. That retention factor for us is significant. They are local. They don't have to relocate. They're in the communities that they live. They support the patients that are their community members. And it's a win-win for all of us. So as we continue to hire these people locally, these whether they're students or they're looking for a second career, keeping them local has been a tremendous resource for us in an industry that has seen high turnover. And we continue now to see that go down because of some of the strategies that Tamara and her team have put in place, the funding that TWC has put in place for us to really dive into local communities and work with them to develop the talent and the pipelines we need in healthcare.
Yeah, well put, Mark. Thank you, guys. That's kind of nailed it. One other aspect that what we're always striving for is to keep the workforce pipeline full and flowing, right? And I think a little bit about how what my approach has always been. We always need to see every line into that workforce development pipeline being energized. I want to kind of talk about untapped opportunities in local workforce development. What we're talking about, vocational rehabilitation, our veteran populations, and making sure that this is, that skilled trade options are being looked at by these different populations. Do y'all have any support or anything specific that you can mention about looking at those untapped pipelines.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mark talked about our Hire Local plan, which is our strategic plan. When we put that together with input from our community and our board adopted that plan earlier this calendar year, our board also identified and targeted 3 target groups to outreach and communicate with because they are chronically underemployed.
Okay.
And that's veterans is number 1. Number 2 is opportunity youth. So individuals between the ages of 16 and 24 who are coming from school districts or from zip codes in our community that have high poverty rates. So we really want to make sure we are engaging the young people early. So that's number 2. And number 3 is we really looked at the eastern crescent of our community and saw that there are pockets of the Austin community where there is a higher unemployment. And so when you talk about untapped talent, because Hire Local, we mean what we say. We want every employer to be able to find their best candidate from our neighborhoods and our backyard. We really want to ensure that everyone has equal opportunity to be able to understand about jobs and how to access them through programming that we offer. So we're keenly aware of and have marketing campaigns as well as on the ground opportunities where we go into the community to help individuals understand what opportunities are available.
Do y'all have any are employers involved in that interaction when y'all go into those communities? And I think that's great if you're looking at you're using your numbers and you're looking at strategic locations and you're going in. Are there opportunities for employers to engage with those that are I guess your audience where you're seeking?
100%, always. Everything we do has the employer at the center.
Awesome.
And so, for example, we held a hiring event at the Central Texas Food Bank.
Okay.
That's in East Austin. That is an underserved part of our community, Austin Travis County. We had a career fair there. We had over 120 job seekers. We have over 40 employers. So employers told us they wanted to engage with the population in that part of our community. So it's one of many ways that we are responsive to the business community by going into the communities where they want us.
Let's continue to talk about those partnerships. You partner with the food bank, and I think there's some members on the board that represent a lot of those nonprofit organizations. What type of partnerships are kind of the linchpins of the Austin, the capital area, when it comes for you guys working with education, employers, how all those partnerships work?
Well, I'll start, and then I'd love for Mark to talk about, because Mark has really been our leader in building up our board and board engagement. But I will say that the statutory required composition of our board actually is pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
It's majority private sector.
So like 51% employers, right?
Absolutely. But we also have labor representatives, union representatives on the board. To your point, we have community-based organizations. They are key on our board. We have primary, secondary, and post-secondary education represented on our board. So it's really a cross section of the community. And one of the things the Capital Area Board has been very intentional about, and Mark has led, is for our targeted industry sectors, we ensure that we have at least 2 employers representing each of those targeted industry sectors on our board. Mark, do you want to talk about board member engagement?
I would love to. Specifically to the healthcare sector piece, it's important for us to get different perspectives and different views. And, we cover a large geographical area here, and there's certainly different challenges that are faced by that talent pipeline in a number of different markets that we look at. And out of these industry sectors, it's made up of the large employers. It's made up of educational institutions or locations. It's made up of nonprofits to come together and try to solve a solution. And that solution is to get more individuals into the healthcare sector. One of the big pieces we're proud of over the last 5 years is a focus on how do we create the opportunity for more students to get preceptorships and graduate from nursing school. This takes a large focus from all of our board members, just not on the industry side, but also the educational side, the wraparound service side, and those are the problems we're trying to solve. So it's not come in with, here's the solution and it's going to fix everything. We got to measure the results of the impact of what that program does, and then we come together as a board to try to solve what is working and what is not working with the current solution we have, and let's try to refine it. That's what this board does very well. We've created time during our board meetings where we can go into breakout sessions and get input from all of our board members on how do we create a particular solution for a sector, whether it's the healthcare sector, whether it's an IT sector, whether it's the infrastructure sector, of getting input from everybody and what has maybe worked in one industry that we can now switch over and look at a different industry. I will continue to come back and focus on apprenticeships because that is a piece that I've been involved in for a long time, and I think we do extremely well at this board within TWC, and I think we're a model for a lot of the United States in terms of the work that we did in apprenticeships. But that took a lot of people to make that very successful, and it took a lot of individuals to try to create opportunities and eliminate barriers that were impacting individuals in diverse communities into populations where potentially they didn't have, for example, the transportation to get to school or to get to the workplace. That's a large barrier for a lot of people that just can't get there when you need them there at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning. There's not a bus, there's not a car, there's not a family member that can drop them off. That's probably the biggest factor. And these wraparound services that TWC has offered and Tamara's group in the community, whether it's Goodwill or other types of industries, can help us support and get them to the workplace. That's the big hurdle. Once we get them, I think, again, we see tremendous success in those programs. So it is a community that comes together, that tries to solve a problem, whether it's the healthcare industry or again, the infrastructure sector. They come together very well to share best practices and to help solve solutions that will be best to keep the individuals locally and for us to hire locally.
Yeah, well put. To wrap up, I was just wanted to give a little bit of time to address employers specifically on and other boards listening on how they can leverage the resources specifically through the board, the local board, how they get a hold of you, but also how they can leverage those resources to help them in their businesses, their situations here.
Sure. Well, thank you for that opportunity. So our website is wfscapitalarea.com, wfscapitalarea.com. Here'd be my message to employers. If you have a need that relates to talent, sourcing talent, retaining talent, growing talent, if in doubt, reach out to a workforce board. Let us talk to you about our services. One of the things that we pride ourselves in doing is we're not going to just say, have we got a solution for you, until we have heard what your needs are.
Yeah.
So we really want to be in that business consulting role.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. That's what I've challenged the team to do, and they've risen to the occasion. So if in doubt, reach out to your workforce board, tell us what problem you're facing, and let us try to help you solve it.
And if that includes training your workforce, not only looking for your workforce, but getting them trained, you guys, we would partner with other educational and looking to get them into grant opportunities to help pay for that training.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
You've heard us talk about our wonderful grants, federal and state. It's all focused on elevating a training and a workforce that gets them better paying, higher paying jobs. Like that too.
Yeah.
Katie, are we anything we're missing?
I think you guys have covered so many great topics. I think it's great for workforce boards and employers, especially I love Austin Hire's local plan. I think that's fantastic
that's strategic plan.
because you're using data to inform your strategy and you're really reaching out to employers. And I think that's why it's so effective. I think you had a great example of being at the Central Texas Food Bank. You're reaching people who need work immediately with employers who are hiring on the spot.
Yeah.
So well done, Workforce Solutions Capital Area. I hope that others listening to this will take some tips and be able to use that locally.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, this was great. David, you got anything on line 5?
Absolutely.
He says he's good. I appreciate David, our intern, doing all the fun things that he's doing today and yesterday.
We need them all.
Yeah, Mark.
They all play an important piece.
There you go. I appreciate you guys being here again. We'll continue to look for opportunities to help raise you guys up as far as we can do it. And I think that kind of calls an episode. I'd say we'll thank you guys for listening, and tell your friends if you found this important, and get them to follow.
All right.
Tell people.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.